Greetings, everyone. I'm going to read you a brief story I wrote. We ask that you like this video and subscribe to our page. We would be most appreciative if you would. I trust you see the real-life application of this story. In a time long, long ago, the authorities of Yiyan Island sent out an alert to the 3,000 inhabitants of the island, informing them that they detected shifting beneath the earth and that an earthquake of enormous magnitude would utterly destroy the island and sink it into the sea. Many people started to get very nervous and even panic. The authorities attempted to calm everyone down by ensuring them that the earthquake would not strike for another 11 to 12 months, which was plenty of time to evacuate the island. The authorities told the people that they wanted everyone prepared to evacuate in 9 months, just in case the earthquake struck a bit before they estimated it would. The authorities had predicted numerous earthquakes in the past, and they were always very accurate about when the earthquakes would strike and the magnitude of them. So the people had a great deal of confidence and trust in their authorities. The previous earthquakes were all of very low magnitudes, so there was very little to be concerned about, least of all evacuating the island. This time was different, though. The authorities took account of the number of people who could not swim. There were 500 in all. The authorities told them that it was essential that they learned how to swim so that they could swim to the neighboring island that was only half-mile away. The authorities assured them that they had nothing to worry about because they could easily teach them how to swim well enough to swim just half a mile. So, the authorities set up swim lessons for the 500 non-swimmers. They set up morning classes, midday classes, and even early evening classes 7 days a week. The first class started 2 days after the announcement was made. The authorities were disappointed to count only 300 of the 500 non-swimmers attended the first day of class. The authorities met and decided, because of the urgency of this matter, they would make it mandatory for all 500 to attend one of the 3 sessions every day until they were certified as being able to swim to the island 1/2 mile away. Once again, the authorities were disappointed to know that still, even after making it mandatory, a large number of non-swimmers still did not show up for swim lessons. To prevent confrontations with them, the authorities left the matter alone and concentrated on those who did attend the swim lessons. After 2 weeks of swim lessons, the authorities reviewed the classes and were disappointed to report that many of the non-swimmers who did attend were not attending regularly. Other non-swimmers consistently showed up late. Still, others were not paying attention or taking the lessons seriously. After compiling all of their data, the authorities concluded that of the 500 people who reported themselves as non-swimmers, less than half of them were model students, meaning they showed up every day or nearly every day, and they focused and took the lessons seriously. 10 months went by, and the same pattern continued for the non-swimmers. All of a sudden, a tremor. The authorities sent out their sentries to inform everyone to prepare to evacuate the island because after a few more small tremors like the one they were experiencing, the major earthquake would soon strike and destroy the island. The inhabitants were told they had 6 hours to evacuate, which is what they were told in the initial earthquake debriefing. So everyone had ample notice. They were sad that they had to leave their belongings behind, but the inhabitants of Yiyan Island knew it was necessary. The tremors started getting worse than the authorities anticipated. The people didn't have 6 hours to evacuate as the authorities had predicted. The earth was really shaking. The ground started to crack open. Fortunately, though, all 3,000 inhabitants made it to the shore, and the authorities and swim instructors took their positions to orchestrate the evacuation. In their panic, a good number of the non-swimmers started grabbing and clutching the authorities and swim instructors, begging them to help them, crying that they didn't know how to swim and they were afraid they would drown. The instructors, with all their compassion, told them that they were sorry, but they couldn't help them make it to the neighboring island. Each of the instructors and their assistants stayed back to assist the small children and elders make it to the neighboring island. The non-swimmers, who either never showed up for the swim lessons or didn't give the swim instructors and their swim lessons the proper consideration, cried and cried, begged and begged for help. But it was to no avail. There was no one to help them any longer. Each instructor and their assistant had their hands full with the small children and elders. So, as the tremors continued to increase, the non-swimmers were forced further and further out into the sea until their knees were submerged. Then their waistlines submerged. Then their chests submerged. Then their necks. Finally, they had no choice but to submerge their heads and attempt to swim. The instructors, who were swimming rather comfortably with either a small child or elder secured under their armpits, as they paddled their feet in unison, watched with grieving hearts as the non-compliant non-swimmers struggled to swim. Unfortunately, of the 500 people who said they were not able to swim, only 200 made it safely across. Sons who begged their fathers to attend the swim lessons watched their fathers drown. Daughters who pleaded with their mothers to attend the swim lessons watched their mothers succumb to the deep. Grandparents watched their able-bodied grandchildren go under and never come back up. Friends watched their best friends disappear into the deep. Yet, life started anew for the survivors of Yiyan Island. Life started anew on Ibawi Island.